Hey crypto family. So today we're going to talk about what's been going on in the market and a couple news articles that I wanted to cover. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So looking at the market, we can see, it's a little stagnant. Everything is up today. Bitcoin is sitting up about 0.56% at $8,269. Ethereum's up 2.37%, about $707, and Ripple's up 1% to 67 cents. Again, everything else is about up or down a couple percent, so not too much action going on. Again, we look at Bitcoin here. The price movement has been fluctuating, around that $8,000. It's about $8,300 level. There's not too much price action, low volume, so one way or another, we're going to break to the upside or the downside. It's just having that volume to do so. Looking at the RSI here, it's about 50, so again, not overbought, not oversold. Looking at the resistance lines, the next big resistance is around that $8,300 to $8,400 level. That seemed to be some resistance in the past. From there, probably looking at around $8,600 for resistance, and then going up to that $8,800 to $9,000 level. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if we can get some volume going to the upside. Covering some news here. So looking at the Twitter of Joseph Young, he's the very popular journalist that's reports a lot of Korea news, and 29 minutes ago he reported that the government of South Korea revealed that it will follow cryptocurrency regulations established by the G20. In this year's G20 summit, governments did not favor strict regulations. Local businesses are optimistic and expecting current policies to be changed. So for those covering South Korea, basically their regulations, they're really strict on them. They were kind of cracking down a lot because they want to stop any money laundering and everything like that. And they had a lot stricter laws recently. Now, if they are going to follow the cryptocurrency regulations established by the G20, then that means they're going to kind of lax some of those laws where they're not going to be as strict and allow businesses to operate more freely. So again, hopefully I see this very positive news, and I see it helping to spread cryptocurrencies throughout various businesses in South Korea and have a more positive effect long term. So again, that's some great news, and looking forward to see the benefits of that in the next couple of months. Another news article I want to cover is one on Cointelegraph, and it says former UK Visa CEO takes helm of crypto consumer payment startup. So it says the former head of Visa in the UK and Ireland has joined a startup bringing crypto to consumer payments. Business Insider NL reports May 19th. It says Mark O'Brien, who worked for Visa between 2008 and 2014, has recently joined crypto consumer payment startup Crypterium, which aims to make it possible to spend crypto in everyday situation. This is huge because this guy, basically what he's trying to do, he was the former head of Visa, so he knows how payments work in the credit card industry. And basically with this Crypterium ICO startup, he is trying to create cryptocurrency credit cards, through MasterCard or Visa, similar to 10x or Monaco. He said, the idea is that cryptocurrency is actually quite difficult today to use as an everyday method of payment. If you were to go to an exchange with your Bitcoin or your Ether, it would probably take you 3 to 7 days to get that money paid out into a normal bank account. What Crypterium will do is make that whole process seamless and give an opportunity for a consumer to actually use their cryptocurrency to pay for everyday items. So again, they're trying to take this mainstream, trying to make it where businesses can easily accept crypto through Visa or MasterCards, which they already accept. Now the caveat to that, Visa, a couple months ago, they actually cracked down and were double charging their customers who were dealing with Coinbase. There's been a lot of controversy with Visa and MasterCard about any company that tries to use cryptocurrencies with their credit cards. So again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But for this guy to be a former head of Visa, that tells you he knows the in and outs, and he kind of has the secret sauce, so to speak, for getting in with them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And again, the next couple of weeks, seeing how that is adopted. Another article I want to show is Bitcoin mining firm trolls Warren Buffett with billboards outside his office. So I thought this article was pretty funny. You've probably seen this picture around a couple times. But basically, Genesis Mining, who's one of the most popular cloud mining services, actually posted this billboard outside of Warren Buffett's office that said, Warren, you said you were wrong about Google and Amazon. Maybe you're wrong about Bitcoin. So Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Charlie Munger a couple weeks ago, they talked bad about cryptocurrencies. Warren Buffett said Bitcoin is rat poison squared, and which doesn't really make sense. But basically, he was talking about stuff he doesn't really know a lot about. Basically, since cryptocurrencies are new and he doesn't understand them and he sees them as a threat to the banks, which he invests in, then, he tends to talk bad about it. So it was funny that they brought up this billboard here, and I mean, it's true because, he was wrong about Google and Amazon, so it very well could be about Bitcoin as well. So I thought that was great. It got people talking and just kind of gave people a different perspective that, hey, don't believe everything just because someone says it. Of course, do your research, and, the end thing may be they just don't understand it. So I thought this was pretty funny, and again, just put some clarity and put everything in perspective when you zoom out. And another article I want to cover is one about Bitcoin Cash. So as you know, Bitcoin Cash recently had their fork. They upped their megabytes. I believe it's from 8 to 32 megabyte blocks and smart contracts. Now, this was basically, not really a lot of people talked about this fork. As you know, whenever Bitcoin forks, a lot of people talk about it. But for Bitcoin Cash, there wasn't really much talk. And people think the reason is because there's not a lot of interest in Bitcoin Cash. And also, it says, in the process of executing the fork, a portion of the Bitcoin Cash community was left behind. At the time of writing, between 16 and 17% of Bitcoin Cash nodes are running old software, and because of the way upgrading by hard fork works, those nodes are now running on a completely separate network. And it says if they were to make a transaction, the new larger Bitcoin Cash network would not recognize it. So basically, they're kind of shunning, 20% of the market there. And I think this is kind of foreshadowing. I mean, Bitcoin Cash tries to be Bitcoin, but again, the support for Bitcoin is so great that I really don't think Bitcoin Cash can make a dent and, replace Bitcoin at all. So this kind of goes to show you, there's really not a lot of interest in Bitcoin Cash like people think. I think it definitely could have some use case, but as far as replacing Bitcoin, no way. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's too much support. Again, they're trying to compete with the Lightning Network, but I think when that Lightning Network does end up, fully being implemented in 2 years, that it'll overtake anything that tries to compete with it. So I just wanted to bring this article out, kind of go over, the Bitcoin Cash fork, and again, there's not much coverage by it, and I think that is just kind of a clarity of, there's not much interest in it. So just want to clear that up for anyone wondering about that. Now, I know I talked about consensus in my last video. This guy here, Tom Lee, who is actually the Fundstrat, he works with Fundstrat Global, and he's known to have, really optimistic views about Bitcoin and really, high price predictions. Basically, it says he's standing by his 25,000 end of the year Bitcoin price, despite the failure of consensus to cause the much anticipated crypto price rally. Basically, in this article, he mentions that, hey, everyone was thinking that crypto was going to rise during the consensus, and it actually fell, 3%. And he says the main reasons for that were the lack of clarity on regulatory discussions and muted custodial announcements at consensus as part of the reasons why the conference didn't produce the expected results. So what that means is there wasn't really a lot of regulatory talk at consensus. It was kind of glazed over. There wasn't really clarity on one way or the other what was going to happen. And then again, the lack of custodial announcements. Basically, what that means is if you want big institutional investors to come into the market, you need to have a way for them to securely store their cryptocurrencies, their Bitcoin, anything of that such, because there is a large amount of money being invested, and they have to know that their cryptocurrencies are safe. So having these custodial safe havens, will help them feel more secure and make them more eager to purchase cryptocurrencies. I know Coinbase is starting, I believe they have a, custodial thing where they're kind of protecting investors' cryptocurrencies, large institutional investors. But again, really the lack of focus on that announcement kind of still left people in the dark. And, it was kind of hard to give an outlook on cryptocurrencies when you don't really have, a big part like the institutional side. You don't have something for them to use which is going to be, I believe, the next boom that we see with cryptocurrencies. So that was kind of some of the reasons he was saying. And then, but despite that, he was saying that, besides more needing to be done on the institutional front, he says if investment managers buy into Bitcoin, then, that's really going to kick it up a notch, and that's what's going to push it to that $25,000 mark. And he says there's still some positives. He says, I think Consensus was a huge success. It's a great conference to bring a lot of people together from around the world. The quality of people that were there was amazing. And then he also dismisses, whenever Ethereum was brought up as being a security or not, he noted that the impending CME futures contract for Ethereum was most likely to end the security utility debate for the number 2 crypto. So that's kind of pretty much stating that, hey, Ethereum is not a security, so you don't have to worry about, regulations and stuff taking effect for that and other ICOs that are on its blockchain. So, so that was kind of some of his thoughts. And again, he's still bullish on it. And, I definitely believe we'll see 25,000 or more by the end of the year. Now, last but not least, is an article by Cointelegraph, and it says, Colorado proposes accepting cryptocurrency for political campaigns. So this is great. Basically what they're saying here is political candidates in Colorado could soon accept Bitcoin or other digital currencies for their campaigns, according to reports by the Denver Post on May 17th. So basically, the U.S. Federal Election Commission already approved the acceptance of Bitcoin as in-kind donations for political campaign. But, it's still kind of up to the states whether they want to implement that or not. So, New Hampshire already allowed candidates to accept contributions for cryptocurrencies in 2014. And now Colorado is thinking about doing it. And again, this is going to be huge because if anything, it's going to spread awareness. So if you have political candidates talking about, hey, we accept cryptocurrencies, people are going to research that and say, oh, what are cryptocurrencies? So it'll just broaden the spectrum of, people who know about cryptocurrencies and just further cause that adoption for the long term. So I thought this was great. And again, it just shows more people, states, businesses willing to accept cryptocurrencies and just spread them, further worldwide. So always good to see that. And just think, it's real positive news, a lot of good stuff coming out. So just more adoption. And again, I think the next couple of months, we'll definitely see cryptos rise a lot more. It's just stagnant right now, not too much going on. So hopefully we break to the upside soon. But as always, keep your stops and trade accordingly. So if you like the video, please give it a like, comment if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. Till next time, thanks for watching.